Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. I am just absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are going to dive into a topic that is honestly just as fascinating as it is comforting. We're talking about the unseen spiritual realm. We spend so much of our daily lives completely bogged down by the physical world right in front of us, right? The bills, the traffic, the everyday stress of it all. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really unpack the incredible, active presence of heavenly forces that are constantly intersecting with our everyday reality. So let's get right into it.
Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14 poses a really powerful question. It asks, are they not all ministering spirits sent out to serve? And what's so interesting here is how this just completely reframes how we usually think about angels. The core idea is that angels aren't just, sitting passively on clouds strumming harps all day. Not at all. They are an active, elite task force. They are specifically commissioned and dispatched by God to serve and to assist believers right here on earth. Which honestly brings up a pretty fascinating irony. If our society is so incredibly quick to believe in ghosts, why do we so easily overlook God's ministering angels? Seriously, think about it for a second. The source material points out how quickly people buy into fairy tales, ghost stories, horror movies, even demonic hauntings. We are so ready to give credit to the forces of darkness, getting spooked by every little shadow, while totally ignoring the immensely powerful forces of light that are standing literally right beside us as our heavenly protectors. So, to make sense of all this, we're going to break this down into 5 key themes. 1. The unseen heavenly helpers. 2. Messengers of understanding. 3. Paving your way. 4. Protectors and divine warriors. And 5. Angels versus demons. All right, kicking things off with number 1, the unseen heavenly helpers. There's this deep, profound comfort in knowing that heaven's eyes are always upon us. And not to judge us or wait for us to mess up, but to lovingly observe and stand by us. Angels are actually meticulous record keepers of your faith. They note your secret prayers, your quiet fasting, your unseen devotion. The source highlights the story of Cornelius. He wasn't just a man who prayed, he was deeply generous. And an angel appeared to him specifically to validate that God had seen all of his quiet, behind-the-scenes charity. Then you have Zechariah, serving in the temple, absolutely terrified by a vision. But the angel came specifically to shatter that fear and reassure him. Every private prayer you whisper is witnessed. We actually hear this directly in Luke 1:13. Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard. Sometimes, in the absolute chaos of our modern lives, we feel like we're just shouting into a void. We wonder if our prayers are just bouncing off the ceiling and nobody's actually listening. But this verse proves heaven is actively, intimately listening. An angel traveled from the very throne room of God down into the everyday reality of a frightened man just to deliver some personal comfort. Moving right along to our second point, messengers of understanding. Because angels do a whole lot more than just listen and take notes from the sidelines. They actively communicate. They act as divine messengers, delivering precise, highly practical directions. Cornelius wasn't just given some vague spiritual blessing. He was given an exact address to go find the Apostle Peter. Joseph, trying to navigate this massive scandal, was told in a dream exactly how to protect Mary, and later, exactly when to flee from King Herod to keep baby Jesus safe. Even Hagar, wandering abandoned in a harsh desert, was met by an angel with clear instructions on what to do next. When believers are lost, angels provide the exact coordinates. Okay, I absolutely love this next story from the source material because it brings all this ancient biblical history right into our modern struggles. The pastor shares this relatable anecdote from his 12th grade exams. He had just switched from a regional language school to an English medium school and was completely, utterly overwhelmed. So what did he do? He literally sat at his desk in the exam hall and prayed for angelic guidance on which multiple choice answers to pick. It's a great bit of lighthearted humor, but it hits the nail on the head. Angelic guidance isn't just for epic biblical heroes. It's for our everyday reality, too. Which brings us to point number 3, paving your way. We've talked about how they listen and guide, but angels also act as a divine advance team, running ahead of us to prepare the road. Let's look at the incredible story of Abraham's servant, Eliezer, in Genesis 24. He was sent on a nearly impossible needle-in-a-haystack mission to find a wife for Isaac in a distant land. Step 1, Eliezer stops and prays for guidance. Step 2, God dispatches an angel ahead of him to do literally all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Step 3, because of that divine setup, the second Eliezer reaches the well, Rebecca is right there. Step 4, the whole journey is a massive success. The takeaway?
Angels are out there preparing our circumstances and solving logistical nightmares before we even arrive on the scene. And God explicitly promises this. In Exodus 23:20, he says, "Behold, I send an angel before you to guard you on the way and to bring you to the place that I have prepared." Just think about the sheer scale of that promise to Moses. That angel was assigned to guide over 600,000 Israelites safely through a hostile, barren wilderness all the way to their exact destination. They go ahead of you to set the stage. All right, point 4, protectors and divine warriors.
So what happens when the road ahead is actually dangerous? Let's shift gears here, because angels are not just peaceful, glowing messengers. They are fierce, overwhelming protectors. Picture the prophet Elisha waking up to find his city completely surrounded by an angry enemy army. He wasn't panicked at all, because he knew unseen angelic armies were aggressively surrounding the enemy in return. Or consider the sheer awe of Jesus during his arrest, calmly reminding Peter that he could summon 12 legions of angels, a massive, unstoppable heavenly army with just a single word. Or the time of King Hezekiah, where just one single angel wiped out an entire Assyrian enemy camp overnight. We are talking about overwhelming heavenly firepower deployed on behalf of believers. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is this: you do not have to fight. The angels will fight for you. If you're facing intense battles in your life right now, whether they're physical, emotional, or deeply spiritual, you need to know that you have unseen protectors handling the heavy combat. You can breathe, you can rest, and you can have peace, knowing the battle ultimately belongs to forces far stronger than anything standing in your way. And finally, our 5th point: angels versus demons. To truly appreciate the breathtaking ministry of angels, we really have to contrast it with the forces of darkness. On one side, we have evil spirits and demons. The source teaches that their only goal is to deceive you, to bring sickness. And the really tragic part is, the moment you're in real trouble, they abandon you halfway. They lead you straight into ruin and just leave you stranded. But on the flip side, we have heavenly angels. They provide steadfast, divine protection. They fight your battles, and they absolutely never abandon you. They guide you completely and safely, all the way to your final destination. It's a night and day contrast of destruction versus total deliverance. As we wrap up this explainer today, I really want you to internalize this core truth. You are never alone. God's angels are camping around you right now. The pastor actually closed his teaching with a beautifully comforting prayer, thanking God for these unseen camps of angels that constantly surround believers. You don't have to physically see them to know they are right there, diligently and lovingly watching over your life. I want to leave you with this final, profound thought to chew on. If the unseen forces of heaven are fighting your battles and preparing your path, what is there left to fear? Seriously, let that empower you today. Walk boldly, knowing heaven has your back. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll catch you next time.